Good morning. It's currently 8:30 a.m. on Friday, July 3rd, 2015. Independence Day observed. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I didn't exactly just get up. This is 5 more minutes. You've actually got a slightly disappointed Christiana today for this video, just because today is the day for registering for the next session of improv classes, which would be 6:01 for me. And there were only 2 slots, and they're both on Thursdays. One at 6:30 to 9, and that's the slot that I would have preferred. And then the other at 4 to 6:30, which would require me to leave work early, which is maybe doable, but not ideal. In any case, I specifically set an alarm so that I could wake up and be ready to try to sign up for the one that I wanted right as soon as the website said that it was available. It said registration began at 8 o'clock. But when I checked it at 5 till, it was already, you could already register it for it, but it was already full. And so basically, when I waited until the time that it was supposed to be available, it was already full. And so if I had tried it even sooner than that, I might have been able to get into it. So that's disappointing. But, I think the other one is manageable. But, like I said, it just will mean that I have to make arrangements to leave work early on that day. And it'll just make everything a little bit more compressed. But, these things happen. Yesterday, I did 2 things worth talking about. One was my Improv 501 classes field trip to see the Improv Boston Mainstage show, which was lots of fun because, of course, that's the, main stage. Obviously, it's like kind of the premiere. It's the best of the best type of show. Oh, excuse me. Goodness. And so, not terribly surprisingly, it was really good. Lots of lessons to take from watching them. In particular, they make big choices, but they also edit really quickly. They know to stop a scene and move on to the next thing before it starts to flag in energy, not after. See, that's a tricky thing to learn, because it's one thing to say, oh, this scene is starting to lose steam, it needs some help, or it needs a new scene. But ideally, you want to have done that before it's noticeable. But yeah, that was really fun. And then yesterday, as it happened, I had a little bit of extra time before going to that show, and so I rented a movie from Redbox that I'd been curious about and kind of wanting to see for a while, but had avoided just because it's weird. And that movie is Tusk by Kevin Smith. Just heard my phone ping about something. Tusk by Kevin Smith, which this is a movie with a bizarre origin that I gather on Kevin Smith's podcast. He talked about, he just discussed some weird movie idea with his co-host, and then they decided to have a hashtag on Twitter to tell him whether he should go ahead and just make the movie. And everyone, of course, said yes, because what kind of weird person says no to like that sort of a thing? So he made a movie with Haley Joel Osment and Justin Long and Michael Parks, where a podcaster goes to Canada and gets kidnapped by a guy who decides to transform him into a walrus. It's weird, right? I'm glad I finally watched it to satisfy my curiosity, but I would say it's a movie where if you feel like You just have to, like, I've told you about it and now you just have to see it. Go ahead and see it. Otherwise, I would say it's not, it doesn't exist for anyone other than the people who already want to see it just from having heard that description. The ending gets to a point where I'm not going to spoil it exactly, but I was sort of feeling like in the very last beat, like, what? This can't be right. This can't be what would happen in this story. And I was feeling a little bit like frustrated and like disappointed by what was happening. And then I realized I was waiting for a joke when the joke was on me for taking a story like this even remotely seriously. The whole movie was conceived, it was from its very conception, it was a joke. And so for me to expect there to be a punchline is like the movie is its own punchline. It's super strange. All right, I'm feeling marginally better, but still got some of the congestion. Talked to my mom yesterday. Apparently I gave my cold to her. That's embarrassing. But I will talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.